Okay, can everybody hear me good? I should have asked that first. Thumbs up, Sherry. You can hear me? Okay, good. So I'm Katie Woodard, and I'm the productivity coach and market center tech trainer for KW Montgomery and KW Auburn Opelika. Today is session 2 of Ignite. We were going to be doing this weekly. And so, from last week, I want some feedback. If you can't talk, I understand, but if you can, please do in the chat or verbally, what changed from last week for you? Were the different habits, activities, things that you did within the last 7 days because of our first Ignite session? Y'all don't know me that well, but I'll sit in silence. All right, we have a chat. Sherry, you had more traffic on your website, so you were sharing things out more, possibly? Perfect. That's good. One more. If you didn't change something, maybe it was your mindset. Maybe something in your mindset changed from last week. Maybe there's something that you want to do. And Monica, dream bigger and setting bigger goals. That's excellent. So today our session is embrace your job. Again, Ignite is a lot. It's like the filler between pre-license. They teach you all the laws not to break, all the codes of ethics, and all the very important things that we need to do. And then Ignite really should be your next step to say, okay, this is now applicable. This is how you need to be thinking. These are things you need to be doing. And so I'm so excited for everybody in this with me. So session 2, here we go. Why? This fancy computer, there it goes. Okay, so we're talking about embracing your job. And we're going to look at the 6 core competencies of a business. We're going to recognize your role as fiduciary for your clients, review your success system and have ahas, and then talk about the daily success system to apply for the next 7 days. So the 6 core competencies of a business. The first one is to lead generate, capture, and convert to appointments. The second is to present to buyers and sellers and get agreements. The third is to show buyers and market sellers. The fourth is to write and negotiate contracts. The fifth is to coordinate the sale to closing. And the sixth is to manage your money. Funnily enough, this is really what they teach in, it's been 5 things, right? Well, the more people are making more money, they added the 6th, which is manage your money, right? We want to be responsible for our profitability and not just make it to blow it. We need to manage it wisely and build wealth for ourselves and for others. Okay, so it's the first one. I'm not doing a good job of keeping up with the book here, guys. So let me make sure I haven't missed anything important. Okay, so this is your first competency and it's your first priority. Without any leads, you have no business. And technically, every business has 2 goals. No matter real estate, dental, rental, it doesn't matter. Banking, you're going to lead generate, and then you're going to do your business. Okay. So that is primary. You got to wrap your mind around lead generation. You're not going to be a lead receiver. This is not HGTV. This is real life and it's work. And the quicker you can jump in and figure out what you're going to do to lead generate and schedule your time accordingly, the better off your business is going to be. Lead generation is about capturing and obtaining accurate contact information. That's a name, phone number, email, home address, and any other data, their birthday, people in their family. Another component is important is that you ask for permission to stay in contact with them. That's a lot of the canned spam and all the TCPA, all of that comes into consideration now with so many businesses and so many different ways to communicate with people that people feel spammed. Of the people on the phone today or on the Zoom today, who has been getting, I want to help you with a NAR medical benefit quote.
Yes, I get them like 3
Okay.
times.
Yeah, It is ridiculous, first of all, because NAR did give them our information. So that's number one, that's ridiculous. Secondly, that's the world we live in. So you don't want to be seen as that, and you don't want to take the risk that someone assumes that's what you're doing. So you definitely want to make sure that you have permission to be keeping up with people, et cetera, et cetera. And that's a great reason that we tell you to start with your sphere of influence, because you really already should have a reason to communicate with them. You just need to have that conversation about, okay, I want to talk to you about real estate as well. And then you want to convert those people to an appointment. The capturing the leads is wonderful. And so many people are, oh, online leads, online leads. Well, they may pay for them, but they don't convert them. And that is a big problem. We're learning and building on each of the skill. And so it's important to attend every session that you can so that you know exactly what this is. These are foundations of your business. So what questions do you have about this competency today? Now we're going to get more granular. We're going to talk about tactics and strategies and things, but what questions do you have about lead generate, capture, and convert to appointments?
I don't have a question. This is Sherry, everybody.
Hi.
I don't have a question, but
I gotta go.
I just want some advice. I actually, whenever I have a bunch of leads, like more than 300, but for some reason, whenever when I'm calling people, I just freeze up and don't know what to say. I just always say, hey, I'm a realtor. I just want to let you know, but I don't know how to get the additional contact information. Like, hey, can I please get your address? I just feel weird asking, like, well, can I get your home address? But I always say, hey, I just want to let you know, or either I'll send a text message to them through the command center, or I'll call them on the phone and just say, hey, I just was reaching out to you, let you know I'm a realtor now. And if you have any family or friends looking, can you please refer me or post and share on Facebook? But I can't get to the point where I can say, hey, can I put your birthday in? Like, how do you guys navigate that to get to asking for that information?
So a lot of that, and totally understandable, right? A lot of that has to do with the scripts that you use. And when you put together your lead generation plan, you're going to say, okay, this is my goal. And we've done that mainly with everybody on the call. That's how much do you want to earn? And then how many appointments do you need to have? Well, the next thing that is how to get those. And part of that is, okay, I'm going to go into those 300 contacts you mentioned, and I'm going to see what pieces of information I don't have. And I'm going to come up with a script and a tactic to get email addresses, to get mailing addresses, et cetera, et cetera. And one, for example, could be, hey, I want to make sure that everybody I know in my sphere of influence, people that I care about, have an accurate home equity assessment on their home. And I was wondering if you mind sending me your mailing address, and then I can look that up for you and send that over to you. Someone would be like, why would you do that? Well, the average Alabamians have an additional $30,000 equity in their home today. And now that's something from AAR has sent out, or Current Matters, or some little factor that would be important to them that you say, I just read this article on X tidbit, and I want to make sure the people that I care about know what their home equity is. So that kind of is like, okay, one, they're seeing you as a professional. Two, you're reaching out, showing that you're a professional. And three, you're going to provide value to them. Now, if they're like, no, that's okay, just say, well, I still want to make sure I have your birthday and your mailing address, because I want to send out birthday cards. I don't feel like anybody's doing that anymore. Would you mind if I sent you a birthday card? And they'll be like, oh, no problem. 123 Main Street. So there's just conversations you have to think about in a different way, basically. Ebony, I saw you unmute. What you got, girl?
Hey, no, I'm just joining in.
Hey.
I just want to make sure everything is in. Hey, everybody. How's everyone doing today?
She's like first time come in, or what is it? First time caller for like the radio show. Anyway, yep. Ebony's been a long time listener to the Katie podcast. Let's see. Rosita jumped in too. Hey, Rosita. These ladies are kicking butt and taking names. Y'all need to listen to them. Okay. So lead generate, capture, and convert to appointments. Again, if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. By the way, I have learned that. Oh my gosh, I have learned that being at home. I have forgotten so much stuff in the last month. I can't even imagine, because I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. I don't put it on my calendar because I'm not at the office anymore and I'm not thinking with that brain. And then I'm like, holy crap. Yeah, it didn't exist to me because it was not on my calendar. Anyway. All right, the second core competency is to present buyers and sellers and get agreements. Now, this seems very obvious, but this means you have a buyer consultation. Please, if you're within my hearing voice today or later, whoever watches this, do not jump in a car and go show somebody a house. First of all, you are worth more than that. Secondly, we're in a vulnerable industry and everybody on this call is a woman. And I'm not saying women aren't strong. I'm not saying whatever. I'm saying that realtors are very targeted sometimes and you could put yourself in a bad situation. So don't jump and do that. Just like any other professional does, you have a consultation. And that can be a Zoom consultation. One, you make sure that you run their number through Forewarn. And check that out. If you don't know what that is, we need to have a different conversation. That's coming with your MAR package, your MAR benefits. Secondly, you ask them for a copy of their driver's license, say your brokerage requires it. I have been too close to too many situations where people have been in very dangerous situations, like agents that were in the office with me, and it just luckily was fine. So just don't do that. Okay. First, that's not in Ignite. That's not in the program. That is just me telling you, do not put yourself in danger by jumping and running for some business. Conduct yourself like a business person. Have the consultation. First of all, you know what they want. You know their motivation. You know if they're ready, willing, and able. By having a consultation, they see you as a professional. You can get an agreement signed. If you jump and run, that's how they're going to see you. You teach people how to treat you. Okay. Now presenting to the seller is a little bit different, and the toolkits that come with Ignite materials have a lot of scripts, have a lot of tools, questionnaires. I'm sharing that in our PC Google Drive, as well as it's in our office Google Drive. It will help you familiarize yourself with what to say. But you want to create a listing presentation that outlines the selling process and the buying process. Now you can do that on paper. You can do that on like PowerPoint, however you do it. And it sometimes depends on your buyer or seller, how they would receive it. You get to know them and you're like, okay, this person's not really going to sit through a PowerPoint. So you put a few things together, but you need to have yourself prepared and don't wait till you have a listing to create this presentation. Okay, guys, you want to seem again like a professional and conduct yourself in such a way that someone would sign an agreement with you, which is a professional contract. Anybody have any questions about that? Presenting to buyers and sellers. Okay. Now the third one is to show buyers and market sellers. See how they did the consultation and then the showings? Funny like that. So what you're going to do is show the buyer based on their needs and selecting the homes based on what you've discussed in this consultation with them. You're going to market your sellers. And that means marketing the house to the best possible light and via the most channels to ensure as many potential buyers as possible will see it and are interested in it. Again, this will be covered in more detail. If any of you guys are friends with me on Facebook right now, I've got my first listing in 4 years because I've been team leader in the office and not selling. And I'm about to blow y'all up with this listing. When I tell you, I told my seller, I said, I hope you're okay with like aggressive marketing. And she said, what does that mean? I said, well, I'm gonna make sure everybody in the Tri-County area knows that this house is for sale. And she kind of laughed, but truly that is my goal. Okay. I'm not going to put it on a billboard, but I'm going to put it in everybody's face every other way I know how. Okay. So that's just an example. Not saying I'm perfect. I'm just obnoxious enough, I hope. All right. So the fourth one is to write and negotiate contracts. This is probably what most people are most nervous about, I would say. I know that I was like, oh my gosh. That's why you attend contract writing with Jimmy Ann. Her class is long, okay, for a reason. Those few documents, which it seems never ending when you're in the class, are what make or break you in the business. You can have all the leads, you can have all the pretty marketing, you can have all the wonderful scripts, but if you do not know those documents inside and out, you're not going to be successful in this business. Do not write anything unnecessary in the contract. Okay. It's fill in the blank for a reason. An attorney wrote that, and that's what we need to hold to, but you do need to know those and familiarize yourself with them. You also need to attend team masterminds, things like that as much as you can, because what you're going to hear is conversations on things that are taking place in the market that top producers are seeing or that other agents are seeing. And you get to hear some ideas on kind of how they're handling it. So you're not out here going, okay, well, I'm looking at MLS, I'm just readying myself for that buyer or seller. And you're kind of in a tunnel, right? Tunnel vision. But by the time you get to it, there's a new tactic on the market that you're not prepared for. Okay. So you want to make sure as much as you can that you can be around other agents. I know we've got some cool things coming up. We've got a game night at the office to get to know people. And we have team meeting every week. We have things that Movement Mortgage are doing. We have this Ignite. There's all the opportunity. Go into the office and work. You'll be amazed at what you hear by people walking by, talking and saying things. Ebony, I know you come and work in the office and you have since you really got licensed. What is your experience kind of being around other agents and
I
making
was
sure
just gonna say, the things that Katie is saying, I can't stress enough. Try to be around as much as possible. Everybody in the office is pretty much nice. Introduce yourself.
pretty much.
Yeah, they are. I mean, you have some. Don't get me wrong, Katie. You have some, but
Listen, if you're
for the
gonna make
most
me
part,
wake my baby
everybody's
up,
nice.
Ebony, I'm gonna lose it.
But yeah, come to the office, talk to everybody, get to know everybody. I mean, once you start those conversations, you learn a lot. And
Mhm.
I can tell you to soak up as much as information as possible.
Yeah.
If you have questions, don't be afraid to ask. There's always
That's right.
somebody there that's going to answer your question. Jimmy Ann, she's good about it. Answering all questions, your broker. Don't be afraid to just, text her or call her. If she can't answer your call, she's gonna text you back. Hey, can you text me, or give me a second, I'll call you back. But she does, for the most part, she answers all the questions.
Yeah, she really, and she'll defend us too.
Oh, yeah.
She just wants to know really ahead of time that something's coming. It's like when you're a kid, and they're like, oh, I hope my mom doesn't see that. We kind of do that a little bit in our business because we're like, oh, we hope it'll all work out. Get her involved early and often because sometimes it's necessary. But just remember, KW has a belief of win-win or no deal, and that should be how you conduct yourself with our agents, with your clients, looking at negotiation. Honestly, everyone benefits when the deal transpires and the transaction closes. And that's how we should conduct ourselves. Now, I'm going to tell you, not everybody in the market believes that. That's okay. As long as you got KW holding your license, that needs to be how you conduct yourself. Anyway, and then let's see what number 5 is. Anybody remember? Coordinating the sale to closing. So you finally get under contract. You're doing all the stuff, you're running around. This is the coordination, y'all. This is what is that date? And what did we say here? Who did they say? This is why you really need to stay organized and know that contract, know the dates, because someone is trusting you to either sell their home or help them purchase a home, and is very important. Now, we have a lot of dual career people. And one of the things I heard being a team leader for a long time, 4 years, felt like a long time, was, oh my gosh, this person has another job and they don't care about me. Now, I know that's not the truth, and I know that's not your intention. So make sure, if you are dual career, that you are making sure you have the allotted time to commit to handling clients. If you cannot, just refer that person. You will still get money. You will still be compensated for however you work out that referral. Please don't ruin your reputation by trying to get a deal when you do not have the time, because that is going to be your reputation forever. The next time a listing agent sees your name come across with an offer, the next time you offer a showing, they're going to tell their family and friends, oh, this person doesn't have time for you, don't use them. That's not what you want. So just make sure that you have the time to devote to doing these things. Coordinating the closing, jumping on the phone with the inspector, with the termite, with the closing company, with the lender, with the other agent, it's time consuming. And this is kind of when you really have to be organized in making sure that you know all the details to make sure that it's getting to closing. Because things pop up, honey. Things pop up. Trust me, you want to have your P's and Q's very clear. All right, so manage the money. This is the one that they've added. And on day 1, we talked about your paycheck and how it's not just to be put in your pocket, right? That the company gets a piece, the other agent gets a piece. You have to pay your taxes on it, and that 3%, 2%, whatever the percentage is, dwindles down quickly. You want to make sure that you manage your money. There is a Keller Williams course called Profitability Agent Financials, and definitely you need to put that on your list, your growth list, to make growth plan, to make sure that you attend that. Tony is going to be teaching some agent profitability classes coming up and some other things. So just make sure that's on your radar to learn how to manage your money well. Don't wait till you start making a lot of it, because that's where a lot of people go wrong. Okay, we know mindset matters. So we want to make sure that your mindset is strong as you're applying these competencies to your life and your business. You want to maintain a mindset of being of service, coming from contribution, and making sure that you want to focus that mindset on serving others. To achieve your highest potential, these 6 core competencies must be done consistently and done well. Gary Keller from the Shift book. Let's see. What are your ahas from those competencies?
Coming to the office more.
Okay. And that's something really people, I think, overlook, especially it's like, oh, well, I'm a independent contractor. I don't have set hours. And I think that can be dismissed to not help the person. So like, if you can, try to come in, and it's not a requirement, but you learn so much. Those weekly meetings, those team meetings we have, are so important, because not only the content, the topic is typically a good topic, okay, right? But even if it's something that you already know, say you're the world's greatest social media person and it's a class on promoting on social media. That's just an example. So you're like, oh, I don't need to attend that. But it's the conversations before, during, and after that aren't necessarily on topic that people, I think, learn the most from. You get interacting with people. Oh, you got this going on. Oh yeah, I noticed that too. It's part of that energy. And then also, not only do you kind of learn some things, but you're like, oh man, now I know Ebony, Sharon knows Ebony. And so if you're stuck or doing something, you're like, well, let me call Ebony. You're building a tribe. Jasmine, what you got? Girl, you off mute? Oh,
I know you just put me on the spot. I came in late, so I'm so
well,
sorry.
you were off mute. I thought you had something to say, girl.
No, I must have done that by accident.
All right. Monica said, develop my script based on the customer. That's true. That's true. We have to remember people need us. And once we figure out our niche or our specialty or what we're going to focus on, then that's how our conversation needs to go. Why does this little thing keep popping up? Okay. So now we're going to talk about recognizing your role as a fiduciary. And this is something fresh from pre-licensing. So what is the difference in fiduciary and functionary? It's about service. So we're going to imagine doing business with a company, for like a car repair company. It doesn't really care about your needs. They just focus on getting the job done and getting paid. They don't build a relationship with you or stay in touch during the job or after the job. Now, the second business is this car repair company. They listen to you, anticipate your needs, help you make decisions, educate you on the process, acts like a partner in the process, keeps you updated, and even follows up with you after the job. Which one's functionary? Which one's fiduciary?
Your first one is
Fiduciary.
functionary.
Right. That's our duty, to be the fiduciary, which means we care so much about our clients' needs, our customer, even if, you know, our agency relationship before it happens. We want to be educating people on the process. During that consultation, whether they sign with you or not, you're really presenting an opportunity to educate a future buyer, a future seller on the process, and to get a referral recommendation, even if that person isn't ready themselves. So that's where the fiduciary comes from. And it is to make sure that you're respected and successful as an agent. All right, in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, Gary Keller says, a functionary is one who has a specific task relationship with their clients. They do the job, that's it. While fiduciary is one who not only does the task, but also is a high trusted relationship with their client and feels total responsibility for the outcome. It's especially important in real estate when people are making their most expensive purchase. Why would a prospective buyer or seller prefer to work with an agent who presents themselves as a fiduciary, not just a functionary?
The fiduciary will have your best interest in hand.
Right. So if I'm working with somebody, and I can think of several companies, you know, those companies, whether it's a restaurant, a rental car company, a store you go to, and you're like, I don't care what I need, I am not going there. Don't you know? We're not going to list any, but we all know. Okay. That's the functionary relationship. And that is not what we want to be seen as. We do not want to be seen as one of 1.5 million realtors. I want to be seen as their realtor. I want to be seen as a local expert. I want to be seen as a professional. And so that's why I need to conduct myself in such a way, and you guys as well. You're not one of many. I think we talked about limiting beliefs in the session before, where it was like one of the limiting beliefs is, well, everybody knows a realtor. But you're not every realtor, because you're going to care. You're going to lead with your big why. You have big goals, and you're going to care about your customers and clients and your sphere of influence, so that they are not led astray by crazy things in the media or somebody who's, you know, a flashy this, that, and the other, going to cut a deal, going to do whatever. We're going to treat our people in such a way that they know that we care about them and that they will refer us business and do business with us. And that's the way that you can serve your clients and customers well. All right, we have an activity. This says divide into groups. Okay, I don't know how to do the Zoom room thing, so we are just going to be one happy group together. We are going to talk through the first 5 core competencies and brainstorm ways that we can serve as a fiduciary for their core competency. So we're going to start with the first one. And we're going to walk through. This is where I would really appreciate the interaction, guys. Okay. So the first one, lead generate, capture, and convert to appointments. How can you act like a fiduciary in that scenario?
Well, with lead generating, maybe I know me personally, I could do this for my son's school, or, you know, whenever they have games or anything, like taking snacks and stuff and you know, marketing and kind of like showing interest and sharing information that I may have, just, you know, while creating casual conversation, letting them know that I'm their realtor and I got their best interest. If they have any questions, like offering, hey, you know, it's about to be the summertime, I know you're off for the summer, would you like to know what your home is worth? That type of thing. So being genuine and I guess your approach to people who are who you see frequently and, you know, work with frequently.
Well, that's so true. I mean, it really is acting interested, keeping them up to date on current, what's going on in the market, not in a way that you're pushy, but a way you're coming from contribution. If you've got, you know, like you said, something coming up, my kids got field day coming up, it's the end of T-ball season. I mean, there's so many opportunities. And if you don't have little kids, you may have different opportunities than Jasmine and I, but we've got nonstop opportunities to interact with people. Going, you know, to take that extra step to go, okay, I'm at Costco, I'm going to go ahead and buy an extra box of snacks and say, hey, here's this for this teacher. X, Y, and Z. I just put a little branding on there. Just want to appreciate you. Want you to know that this is coming from me. And hey, if you have any questions about what's going on in the real estate market, please let me know. Hey, download my app. I'd love for you to take a look at it. That's coming from contribution because you're anticipating the fact that they are interested in what's going on in the market, whether they're a homeowner, renter, whatever. Everybody is a hot topic. Secondly, you're serving them. You're doing something. It doesn't always have to be something like that, giving of snacks or whatever, but you can come up with a way that you can contribute to your community and to your
Or
local
even
sphere.
like the
And
doctor's offices, or
yeah, I
dinners,
mean,
whatever.
the mom groups, maybe it was a couple months ago, I was in one of those mom groups on Facebook and they're like, oh, we're going to treat the nurses at this pediatrician's office to lunch one day. And they all went in together and they tried to hit, I think, every pediatrician's office in town. And I was like, that is a brilliant idea. So there's just, if you start looking for ways to give back and to do that, there's going to be obvious ways. Monica said, speak to prospective client and create a bond to go above and beyond. Right. So you want to capture the lead, generate leads in such a way that people see your heart and see what you're doing and your engagement in the local community or your sphere of influence. And then you're going to convert them to an appointment. It's very important, though, that every conversation you have with that person or those people leads to, I'd love to meet with you to tell you more. Any little bit of interest. You're not just doing this like as a nonprofit situation. You are showing your heart, care, concern, contribution, but this is in order to get appointments. Say, hey, I'm holding appointments. Do you know anybody that would be willing to meet with me to discuss their real estate needs?
Oh, and Katie,
Or to say that. Yes, ma'am.
I was going to add too, like, once you're, out there doing your lead generating and you come to a point where you are, engaging and having that, building that relationship with that person, that's a good time to like get their email and add them to your database to where, they get those automated emails, letting them know what the market is like based on what they're looking for.
It's exactly right. And having the conversation is it's no pressure. I just send out market information. Since everybody is, typically interested in looking at houses, even if they're not actively buying, I'd love to share my app with you. I'd love to get your info and send you some information. If you hold the conversation like it's not scary, they're not going to be appalled. Promise. Layla, I see you, ma'am. Are you unmuted? Because you have something to add?
Oh, well, I ain't trying to do it. I'm driving.
I'll mute you. Okay. 10 and 2, girl. 10 and 2. All right. So the second one is present to buyers and sellers to get agreements. This is where Monica's answer comes in, to educate your client about the home buying and selling process. If you're not having that appointment, are you a showing agent or are you acting like a fiduciary agent? If you're running and unlocking doors, are you conducting yourself in a manner that shows that you're the utmost professional?
No, because that just means like you're available for whoever, whenever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And although you are available, I'm only available if we're really working, not just here to open
I
doors.
don't have time to go out and show houses all over the Tri-County area. If you want to meet with me, you're going to meet with me. And that's where I'm at in life. And honestly, you can be wherever you want to be in life, but you will not ever say, Katie said, go run and show a house. I will not. And I'm not going to recommend you do that, because if you want somebody to see you like a professional, yes, schedule an appointment. Yes, by all means, and make it today, make it within an hour, make it however often, but let's have the conversation that it is an appointment. I am going to have a consultation, and then we can go look at houses. First, I'd like you to come by the office. We can take 15 minutes, do a consultation. I've got some very important questions I need to ask you. We can look at properties on the MLS, make sure we know the ones you want to go look at, and then we can go show homes. It doesn't have to be a long, drawn out situation. Now, you just need to know, are they ready, willing, and able? There's important questions to ask. There's important things to present, but you want to be the professional. You're going to educate them on the process, and then you're going to be the leader of that. Someone off the street just says, oh, hey, I saw this house for sale. Let me come. That shows you're not busy. Okay. You just hop up and run and drive. Secondly, I've already discussed this, but you could be putting yourself in a dangerous situation potentially. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Not trying to scare y'all, but listen, Mama Katie comes out. I want to protect y'all. And always blame it on your broker. Just say, hey, my broker requires me to get a copy of your driver's license and to have our first appointment be in our office. And even if it's after hours, guys, we have cameras in the office. So if you have to come in and do a little consultation at 5 o'clock, 5:30, I wouldn't recommend going at dark, but hey, again, that's you. Just make sure that, you're protecting yourself and you're setting a habit that will, one, show you in the light of fiduciary professional, but two, protects you. Okay, now our third competency is to show buyers and market sellers. Somebody, this is a softball. Tell me what this is. How are you the fiduciary in this activity? Showing buyers and marketing sellers. Come on, we have a Zoom room full of intelligent women. Y'all, I had to water down this Guthrie's tea. It was too sweet.
So your question was, how do you show buyers and market sellers?
And being the fiduciary, particularly as a fiduciary.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe for your sellers, you would market like your experience, what you would offer them. Really just the perks of working with you.
Well, but also, how would you market that home to be the fiduciary? Would you just put a sign in the yard and sign the agreement?
Oh, no.
And I'm saying, like, who we represent in the situation?
Yeah.
Is it
You're representing the buyer or the seller. So it's saying, like,
Okay.
how do you do that and not just be a functionary? So for a buyer, are you going to show them a property if they're not pre-approved?
No.
No.
Lord, no, y'all.
Because you don't know what they can afford. You got to find out what.
Are you going to show them a property above what they're approved for?
No.
No, that's just being a functionary. Oh yeah, you like that house? Let's go look at it. No, the conversation should be, hey, so according to your lender, according to your whatever, your financial situation, this is the home, this is the qualification of the homes we need to be looking at. Now we can look in different areas, but this is the price point and the payment that you're looking at in that price point. So as your fiduciary, it's in your best interest that I'm going to show you properties that fit this financial threshold. As your listing agent, I'm going to market your property in such a way that every buyer in the market will know that this is available. So that's being the fiduciary. It's not just putting a sign in the yard and saying, hey, here it's listed. Or, y'all have been all over MLS, right? So y'all seen those houses that might have one picture and it was taken with a 1992 little disposable camera. That's not behaving as a fiduciary, right? And I'm not saying you have to do professional photography. I personally think it's worth the investment. If somebody's going to pay me $8,000 to $10,000, I can pay a couple $100 and get their home professionally photographed. But we have very nice phones. We have ring lights. You can open the blinds at a house.
Mm-hmm.
There's ways to market it that show and present a home, a property in a good light, and that's where you have the best interest of the client at heart by doing some of those things. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And the fourth one is write and negotiate contracts. So how would you be a fiduciary in this one? I think this is the way we normally think of the fiduciary relationship, is through the writing and negotiating contracts.
Well, maybe for buyers. Yeah, well, maybe for buyers asking, for different concessions on their behalf, or advising them on what would be best, I guess, for their situation.
Yeah. Well,
and then for sellers, letting them know, like, hey, this is, I know the market is this, and these are the options that you have. This is what's best for you in this situation.
Oh, Sherry popped in and she said, make sure you're giving accurate information. Ooh, girl.
He said a word then.
Don't share the Zestimate, honey. Do not share the Zestimate. That is not, but really, Jasmine, you're exactly right. By having a relationship with them that's professional, you've had consultations with them, you've had appointments with them, you've educated them on the process, you've told them what to expect. And now as you're bringing either offers or you're helping them create an offer and decide, which one they're going to choose, you're explaining to them, knowing their situation. Hey, because we've talked about this, we know that, you're willing to do selling concessions, or we know that you need to request seller contribution. Those are sometimes a tough conversation, but those are the conversation that you have with your client. And then you turn around and have with the co-op and say, hey, here's our situation. This is the offer. Here's the things that they're willing to move on. And it's a lot of communication. It's very important to be open with your communication and to know what the contract will allow, to follow the timelines, not to let them slip your mind and go, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. It's very important. You want to use sound judgment and intuition when writing and negotiating contract to get the best results and to, again, maintain that relationship with your client. And then the last one is coordinate the sale to closing. How can we do this and be a fiduciary?
By basically being, in a sense, a legal representative for your client, where you will be negotiating for their best interest and ensuring a smooth a transaction as possible.
Right. Ensuring a smooth transaction. That's exactly it. Preventing any hiccups, which means that you're going to be proactive in the situation. One, you're going to know your deadlines. You're going to know all the negotiating terms so that you're sure what you have going on. You're going to be organized. If you're the buy side, you know which parts you're responsible for. If you're the seller agent, you know what parts you're responsible for. You're going to be communicating. You're going to be CCing people on the emails. You're going to be attaching the contracts when they're asked for. Someone should not have to call you 15 times to get a piece of paper that they need for the contract to go through. And I know that that sounds so ridiculous to you guys, but it is so true. There are so many agents that fight to get an offer approved or to go under contract and then to come up ghosted. The whole kind of mama bear thing in me when I get a little sassy and a little bossy with the agents. I'm sorry, but Ebony and Jasmine, Layla, y'all know this. Is because I don't want to ever, I know you don't want to seem like you're not professional, and I don't want to ever have somebody go, oh, well, that KW agent over there, they just don't, they fall off the planet. They don't respond. All they want is to get it under contract. That's not being the fiduciary. The fiduciary is not just getting it under contract, not just getting a listing, not just getting a buyer, but getting it all the way to close and really creating clients for life and people that believe in you and will refer business to you. And that's making sure that you're partnering with your person, that you know their terms, that you know what's in the contract, that you follow the deadlines, that you understand what it looks like when you explain to them, hey, this earnest money, this is part of your, skin in the game. When we turn this in, this money will be deposited. If we step out of this contract, we have a certain time limit that we could get the money back. If not, it's only if the seller allows it. Everybody has to sign on. It's not just saying, oh yeah, I'll get your earnest money back. That's not being fiduciary. Fiduciary is having the conversation of what that looks like and the different scenarios that could be created from that. And making sure that they have a home inspector and what that looks like when you get the home inspection report, helping them discuss what that is. That's being someone's fiduciary. All right, and then the last one is managed money. It's more complex. We don't really necessarily have a lot of time to go into this, but if someone can't trust you to manage their high dollar purchase, it means that it's not great, right? So you want to be managing your profitability as a business owner, even in the beginning. And then you want to be able to have educated conversations, like I said, that builds wealth, promotes wealth in your own family and in that of your sphere. And there may be times that you decline a deal because it doesn't fulfill, it may have, okay, great transaction, could have a great commission, but it may not be a win for you and it may not be a win for your family, and that's okay. Honestly, you're going to be able to make those decisions, and that creates validity for who you are and your big why. And that's okay to say, you know what, I'm not the right person for you. I'd love to refer you to somebody else. It's okay to do that. We want to make sure that we are living by those Y4C2Ts that we talked about yesterday, and make sure that we are serving as a fiduciary. And how does being a fiduciary take you from being an okay agent to a great agent? What do you guys think?
I think it just shows that you care about what you do, you're passionate about what you do, and it'll come across as just that you're confident, you know what you're talking about, you're the expert.
Well, it gives you validity and it helps people to trust you.
Yeah.
And that's so important. All right, give me some ahas from the competency and the fiduciary conversation we just had, guys. Monica said it shows a level of professionalism. That's exactly right. Any ahas? You guys all knew all that stuff that we just covered?
Well, for me, I know I just need to make sure that I'm like, I guess staying true to and trusting in my own process, because I have opened some doors without, contracts, and like making sure that I'm not letting them rush me because they think they're ready and then come to find out they're not ready.
Mhm.
So, just getting more confident in having those conversations and taking lead and being like, hey, well, no, this is my process.
Yep.
And that's what it is.
Well, I mean, I don't mean to say all these things like I am perfect and I have done it perfect. Listen, y'all, I have broken into little HUD houses that the agent was like, oh, it's unlocked, to go through the window. I have been in some shady situations in my real estate world that people have like suggested I do. And looking back, I'm like, hold on a minute. I should have never done X, Y, and Z. And so I just want to pass that knowledge forward and make sure that you guys, because nobody told me, I had to learn the hard way. I want to come home to my family. So I want you guys to see that in yourself and to conduct yourself with more worth, because that's, you teach people how to treat you.
Okay.
Ebony, what would you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say, for me, time management, make sure you manage your time. Just make sure you manage your time, because you can quickly, like you said, you have to keep communication open. You can get behind on some things, and you'll find yourself up at midnight trying to play catch up.
Stressing.
Yeah.
Stressing. Yeah. Just try to be as organized as you can. Get used to using a calendar now, so that when you have the contract dates and certain things, go ahead and put on your calendar. Give yourself like a 2-day buffer and go, okay, this has to be done because it's 2 days before this date. So that you can start, if you got a light, put a light under somebody's fire. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Light somebody up and go, oh, why haven't I got this? You have time that then on the other side to your client, you appear professional.
Katie.
Yes.
Okay, I would like to add something.
Okay.
2 things. One thing I want to say something about the pre-approval that makes you look like a professional, that save your time and all that. True enough, if you go out showing 1,000 houses to somebody who's not pre-approved, you're just wasting your time. You just a showing person. Okay, but even though we know that we got to get them pre-approved, sometimes it's just important to just listen and see where you're going to take that conversation and how you're going with that conversation. Yeah. And I'm going to say that from my personal experience. I had a client who called me out of the blue moon, and I answered the phone. And we're talking, and he's telling me about everybody he has spoken to, want a pre-approval letter, and they won't even have a conversation with him. And that's just a turn off. And then I listened. He was very frustrated. But what what happened was he really don't know the process. So I listen. I said, well, this is how I say it. The reason why they're asking you for a pre-approval letter is because they want to know how much money you have to shop with. Because it'd be crazy to be out there just showing you all the houses and we don't even know what range because there's so much out there. And he was like, okay, so what's the process? What do I do? Da, 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 da. I took almost 15 minutes talking to this man. He told me he was pre-approved for $850,000. I was just listening like, keep talking. So I did that part. He took 15 minutes, whole 15 minutes of my time. When I got off that phone, I'm not gonna lie to you, I forgot about our conversation. But 3 weeks after, this man called me back and he said, hey, this is such and such, and I spoke to you about 3 weeks ago. You remember I was looking for this? I said, oh yeah, I should remember. How are you? Oh, well, I got my pre-approval letter, $850,000. So if I had gone the route of, I'm the professional, I got that hat, I want that pre-approval letter, then I would have never been able to sell him a house for $525,000. So I just want to say we got to do what we got to do, but at the same time, sometimes we just need to step back and listen. That's one thing. The
Well,
next thing,
that's part of the communication. I mean, really, you do need to have a
yes,
discussion. It's not transactional, it's relational.
relational. Okay, so the next thing is about the schedule, the time management part. I'm going to say my go-to person is Susan.
Yeah.
That's my go-to person. If I tell you she work magic, she gets you to the closing table, you walk out of there, your check ready. So that's it.
She saves a lot of time. And what Layla's talking about, if you guys don't know, Susan at the office has Sullivan Transactions, and she does the paperwork, transaction coordination for any agent. You sign a contract with her, and she's got a fee structure that comes out of your closing. But for people like Layla and some of our other top agents, they take advantage of her. She puts it in command. She can get it signed. She does all kinds of stuff. But that takes the load off of you, where you can leverage your time to have more appointments and to work with more clients. So that is definitely, I'm gonna tell her you gave her kudos, Layla, she'll love that.
Oh, Katie, I second that.
Yes.
I do second that. Susan, she's great when it comes to that.
Yeah.
paper.
Yeah.
And I want to add also, she don't work on all your transactions. She work on the one you put her on.
Yeah.
If you don't say, hey, Susan, start on this right here, she don't bother you.
Yeah. She's been in real estate. You guys, she was closing attorney. She was for, I think, a mortgage company, closing attorneys, and she's been at the office for 8 years. She knows our compliance back and forth, and listen, she takes it very seriously. So definitely, if you have the opportunity to leverage Sullivan Transactions, definitely do so. And you can talk to her more about what her agreement entails, and like Layla said, what deals. She'd be happy to take them on. Definitely okay. But that's part of being the fiduciary. If you're not the organized person, leverage. Say, hey, Susan's on my team. She's going to take care of this. It's pretty awesome. Anyway. All right. So nothing else about your business will have as big of an impact on it as the number of leads you have. So in the real estate business, there are 2 lead situations that every agent is in. You either have too many leads or not enough leads. Anybody on this call have too many leads? Okay, didn't think so. So we're going to work on getting you enough lead generation and lead follow-up to make sure, and you can be prioritizing your business, handling your leads, working on your business and in your business. This quote was in our first session of Ignite. Accountable people achieve what others can only dream of. And it's a quote by Gary Keller from The One Thing. Accountability is a crucial part of achieving your goals. When you report it to someone else, your progress to your goals, you gain focus and motivation. Can anybody attest to that by just being 1 week in Ignite? Y'all feel, are you a little more motivated?
Mic going out. Can you repeat that? Your mic is going out.
Your mic is going, I'm just kidding. I see Ignite of being more motivated, having more energy, feeling like you have another accountable group that you can participate in. Well, I definitely hope so. And accountability is a process. And right now we have kind of a group of people that may seem like strangers. We may know each other's names or faces, but we're going to really get to know each other and have a fantastic group. I was looking at trying to do a group me, I believe, and let me look and check. I created the group, but I don't think I've added everybody to it. What I'll do is I'll send an email out to everybody on today's call that we can jump in on and make sure that we can encourage each other and hold each other accountable. I know not everybody on the call is in productivity coaching, but those that are, again, we have that Facebook group. This should be a group community of accountable people that are helping encourage others. Now, this is what I would love for everybody on the call to get to doing, is to create or choose an accountability partner. Now, this provides a safe place to share and helps you with follow through actions. It helps you listen and pay attention. You check in with each other, and then you can create a commitment and stick to it, giving feedback. And you have each other's best interest at heart and at mind. Right now, we have 10 people on the call. I would love for everybody, again, I'm going to send out the group me, where we can get everybody's info and get in one chat, but to everybody choose an accountability partner. And at least through our Ignite session, have that person that you can check in with, say, how's it going? How are you doing on your goals? We're going to reference this frequently in Ignite, is how's it going with your accountability partner? And that we can work that out. Does anybody on the call already have an accountability partner?
Nope, not me.
I've been
Okay.
working with
I
Teresa.
already have. I have one.
Okay. Who said they've been working with Teresa?
Quan.
Awesome. Perfect. You and Teresa. Got it.
Mhm.
I got one too.
Who was that?
Layla.
Okay. Layla's got an accountability partner. Ebony has an accountability partner. And Monica needs one. And
Jazz needs
Lakinda,
one.
Sherry,
Sherry.
Rosita, and Jasmine. Y'all all need one. Let me see. And Lorraine. Let me think about it. Jasmine, you and Jasmine aren't accountability partners?
Well, oh, I thought you meant within this group. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Well, I
Jazz-
mean, you can have one in this group too. It ain't
oh,
no big deal.
yeah, it doesn't matter. But yeah, Jasmine is my girl.
Okay, that's what I thought. I think that Lakinda and Sherry, you guys will be a good match for sure if y'all can connect. And then Rosita, will you partner up with Lorraine? And who am I missing? I've got Monica. I've got a couple people not on the call today too, that I know need partners. All right, so by next week, we're all gonna have our accountability partner. Again, I have a couple people not on the call today. I know Rick's not on the call. And well, Teresa was mentioned a minute ago, but we'll make sure that everybody has somebody. And this is who you'll be doing scripts with. You'll kind of give feedback to. If you haven't done your goal setting session with me, do that so you know how many appointments you're trying to hold monthly. I'm not going to say try, that you're going to hold monthly, so that person can hold you accountable to doing the activities it takes to get to that. So important. So important. Oh my goodness. All right. So we're wrapping it up, y'all. All right. So the daily success system, let's be honest, who's done this? 10 conversations, 10 contacts added, 10 handwritten notes, and a 10-5-1 social media engagement. So I think the 10 is 10 likes or respond, like, what do you call that? not a response, but anyway, 10 likes, 5 comments, and 1 message, I think is what it is. I have not had confirmation of that yet. I've looked through all this stuff. I think they just think you're supposed to know. We're going to call it that. But it's basically social media engagement. So who's done some of this? Come on,
Me.
guys. What now?
I did it. I had 2 appointments, but and that was it. We had coffee one day, and then the next day I took a girl to Panera Bread. But yeah,
Good deal.
both of
Well,
them
make
had
sure-
credit issues. And then yeah.
Make sure that you guys are having conversations. We know to get to 4 appointments a month, you probably have to have 200 conversations plus with different people. So making sure that you're having those 10 a day. And that's 2-way conversation. So you can do that again on social media. You can do it in person, text message, email. Again, in person is the best. On the phone, checking in, making sure that your people are being added to command. And then the handwritten note is just a really nice touch. And you can get notes very inexpensively on Amazon or Dollar Tree or places like that, where you can send a handwritten note and say, hey, thanks so much for speaking with me today. Here's a couple of my cards. Here's my QR code from my app. You can get really creative in that, but that is a really nice touch to help build that relationship. All right, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. What do y'all think about that? So make sure you're measuring your activities. And just to remind you, Ford, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Hey, how's it going? How's your family? How's your job? Are y'all going somewhere this summer? I know you wanted to buy that new car. Did you do that? It's real easy, quick start conversation. And then, of course, starting with your sphere. So as we wrap up today, how has your thinking changed? What new ideas or mindsets were new to you? What do you feel differently about? What was meaningful for you today? How will your behaviors be different going forward? What actions will you take? What tools, systems, or models, I lost it, will you use, and how will you be accountable to those? Those are questions I want you to think about as we wrap up our session today, session 2. Next week, we're going to talk about connect with your market. So we're going to dig a little bit deeper into how to do that. We're going to be talking about knowing your market, showing yourself as an expert, using different resources. And that will be next week, 12 to 1, hopefully back in person. Surely this whole ear infection thing we've got going on will not last another week. Thank you guys for being patient with me, jumping on Zoom. I do love that we can do that. My goal is to have both session 1 and session 2 uploaded to YouTube today. I'll share that out with you guys. Look for the group meet as well, and talk to y'all soon. Have a great day, everybody. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Thanks, Katie.
Thanks. Bye. Thank you.
Y'all.